That's like really. Life lessons with Ali.
Hi everyone, welcome back to ALYSSA'S Life Lessons. This week we're just going to do a really quick tutorial and we're going to do 10 ways to take a good photograph. So these are just some tips that will hopefully help you to improve your photography. Okay, so tip number 1 is exposure. I've already done a video on this, go and check it out and make sure that you follow those rules. Tip number 2 is composition. So this is thinking about everything within the frame, making sure you have everything included that you want and making sure that there's nothing sneaking in that's going to ruin your photograph. Following on from composition, we have keeping it straight. So making sure that all of your parallels and horizontal lines within the photograph are lining up with the sides of the frame. We don't want any wonky buildings. Next we have perspective. So this is thinking about ways in which you can take photographs from different angles. So try taking them from higher up and lower down and seeing what difference it makes. Okay, next one we have white balance. This is making sure that the colour in your photographs is as it should be. So we don't want any weird orange casts or blue casts. We want it to feel as legitimate as we can. Nothing wrong with warming it up a little bit, but it's just making sure that those colours are balanced. Next one we have is depth of field. So we looked at this in the exposure video I did a few weeks back as well, and this is thinking about how and when you might want to use a shallow depth of field or a large depth of field. This means basically blurring out the background or potentially keeping everything in focus, but it's knowing when you want to do it and making sure that you know how. Then we have focus. So this is really important. You can either focus manually or you can focus with the automatic features, but it's really important to make sure that what you want to focus on is nice and sharp. Next to think about is narrative. So it's a really good idea to make sure that there is some kind of story within your photographs. Sometimes a narrative can be shown across several images, or you can fit a narrative into one photograph just by thinking about all the things that are going on. And this leads us nicely into concept. So your concept is what makes your photograph stand out from someone else's. It could be that you've got a photograph of a person, but you really want to show something about them, and that concept is what makes that photograph more interesting. Things like photographs now, documentary photography, massive concept with regards to lockdown and how you incorporate that into your photographs and whether or not that separates that from another documentary photograph. And finally, we have post-production. Now, I'm not telling you to go and edit all of your photographs, but I am saying to think about it when you do. So there's nothing wrong with some basic lighting touch-ups, there's nothing wrong with correcting some things that maybe didn't go well in camera, but it is also about not doing too much. You don't want to make your photographs look cheap, and you don't want to make them lose quality by doing too much to them. So that is our 10 ways of creating better photographs, and now I'm going to set you a task. I would like you to create 10 photographs that tell a narrative of what is going on in the world right now. This can be personal to you and the way that you are coping with it, or it can be looking at the wider environment around you. Obviously, be careful about coming into contact with other people. Make sure you're still only going out once a day for your exercise, but whilst you're doing that, you can do this challenge over a few days. Okay, that was the 10 quick fire ways of improving our photographs with a nice little task on the end for you. This really is it for this week, and over the coming weeks I'm going to be looking in more detail at some of the points that I've discussed today and showing you how to do it and the best ways in which to do it. So there'll be some more in detail tutorials for those topics. Have a great week, and I will see you again next Monday.